Yeah, I was confused too.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports live show. This is episode 179. We've got Jonka in the house. We've got myself, Danny Torres. We've got Brandon Fernandez. Brandon L. is at the Marlins game tonight, doing some work covering the Fish. So he is out tonight. But we got us three here. And hope everyone's having a great start to the week. Last day of March, actually, into April tomorrow, April Fool's. So anything that you hear tomorrow, take it with a grain of salt. Just like if Brandon tells me the Boston Celtics is the best franchise to ever exist, I know it's April Fool's. Anyways, guys, let's get into our good and bad. Let's start with bad this time around. Brandon, hit me with your bad. Shameless plug.
Yeah, bad shameless plug. I would have to say it's got to be the weird weather that we've been having in South Florida. I mean, it was downpouring like crazy on everybody in downtown. I mean, the people in Ultra, I don't know how they did it. Like EDM music, love EDM, right? Love all the house. But damn, man. I mean, you're like swimming down Brickell and you're still able to make it in time to the stage. That's insane. It's that, and then also Broward County's apparently in a drought. I haven't seen rain in my backyard in days, so it's got to be that weird stuff going on, man. I mean, again, I know we're going to talk about later on, actually in the top hour, but storm's not really stopping a lot of things going around in sports in South Florida, so that's at least the good part.
I don't know about you, Brandon, but at least when I get older, I start finding myself caring about things that I didn't care about before. Like, I go outside, and I'm like, damn, the grass is brown, man. Like, that started to bother me a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, man, there's just too much furniture in this room. There's just too much right now. I got to clear this out. Like, it's just, maybe it's with age, man. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Ultra, that was, man, let me tell you, that was bad. Those people out there getting absolutely, that's a cold waiting to happen for sure.
Oh, my gosh. Plus, it's like, I traveled from London to be here. Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you came with the worst day.
Chanka.
Bro, London. I had some customers come from South Korea.
Jesus.
For Ultra, bro. And I'm like, damn.
They're like, yo, does it really rain like this? I'm like, yeah, this is typical Miami right here.
That's crazy. But bad for me, it would have to be, I mean, I love the, baseball just started. Yeah, all those people already making conspiracy theories.
Bro, your torpedo bats, bro. What's up with that?
Bro, torpedo bats, but yet like 7 other MLB teams and multiple players from other teams have been using it. No, because the Yankees are being successful with it. That's when it's a problem.
I don't know, bro.
Why don't the pitchers just pitch better and maybe the players wouldn't swing and miss?
I'm not going to lie, though. Not every single of those teams have Aaron Judge at bat. So... But actually, funny enough, I think one of the people from the Marlins clubhouse actually invented the whole thing. So it's like maybe that's going to be helpful for them. I don't know, but I saw the Yankees, man. What was it, 3 homers to open up a game?
What's funny enough, though, besides it being an actually like a bad, like something bad, the person that threw the first 4 home runs in that game was Nestor Cortez, a Hialeah native. And he was the former pitcher for the Yankees last season, the one that threw the home run against Ohtani in Game 1. It's just ironic. It's like you knew the batters, you still can't strike them out.
Me and Brandon, we should collaborate to open up an investigation to the Yankees about these torpedo bats, bro.
Yeah, something's not right. Maybe there's some metal, like a metal ball in there, man. This doesn't look right to me.
It doesn't, man. It certainly doesn't. For me, it's going to have to be the world famous Miami Youth Fair. World famous Miami Youth Fair. So I go to the youth fair. I hadn't been in like years. I would say like 6-7 years I hadn't been. But I was like, you know what? Let's just go this year. And what pissed me off was they have a beer garden. I was like, all right, I'm going to get a beer. So I go to get a beer, and then they're like, it's $15 for a regular beer. And I was like, there was a sign that said $6 for all imported beers. I'm like, that sounds like a great deal. So I was like, what's that $6 imported beer deal that you have there? And they're like, oh, it's all imported beer. And then she proceeds to tell me this. It comes in this sippy cup that was this big. And I'm like, I can drink that beer in one gulp in that cup. It absolutely, that pissed me off, ruined my mood for the rest of the day. The only thing I ended up having was, and this is true, it's the only thing I had. God bless my trainer. I had a corn on the cob. That's all I had. And it was very delicious. But I'm very proud of myself for holding off and not wanting to, eat some more food. But yeah, definitely not. That was not it for me.
Shout out Ralphie.
Yep. Shout out Coach Ralphie for that one. Good, Brandon. Hit me with the good.
A few things I would have to say. Actually, funny thing is, I got thumbs up from my employer, so I thought that was really cool the other day because again, I'm not gonna go through the full technical side of it, but I had to learn Spanish on the fly Saturday morning. We had to go from our usual studio, which I with WDBJ, we had to go to Telemundo. So I had to go to Telemundo, learn how the lights were moved, how the cameras were moved. Very last minute stuff, but that was probably the best thing. He said, great job, and I was like, I haven't heard that in a few months. Thank you.
Yeah, it's getting compliments around here. It's not. It's tough.
Which Telemundo did you go to? The one on the
turnpike? Oh no, not the Dolphin Mall one. Just the one in our studio, 51.
Yeah.
Yes, Cinco Uno. Yeah.
Over there by Pembroke, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Jonka?
For anybody that collects sports cards or does anything with sports cards or even Pokemon, doesn't matter. I've officially started. Well, just like a couple hours ago, I finished my first live stream selling sports cards. I got 8 orders. I got sending them out tomorrow. If any of you guys wanna buy some sports cards, they're for $1. Let me know. I got football, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever you need. I got you. It's cheap. It's whatever. It's $1. You can find your favorite players. It's fun. I suggest other people do it too. You could see on Whatnot. You could sell other things. It's just shirts, hats, collectibles, whatever you need. It's pretty fun. I'm gonna lie. Pretty excited.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I would say this past Tuesday it was my mom's birthday. We had a good time. We went to lunch. Had a good lunch. Very thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I took her to work out like 2 hours later. So I had fun in that part too. I don't think she had as much fun in the workout part of the birthday, but it was fun, man. We always work out together. So that was the highlight. That was the highlight of the week, to be honest. But yeah, this is going to take us to our first topic of the evening. And that is going to be the Miami Marlins opening weekend, 3 wins, 3 walk-offs. And I don't think that's been done. I don't think all 3 victories for an opening series has been done by walk-offs. I don't think that's happened in history.
2003 apparently was the last time. I believe it was Tampa that did that, according to the MLB.
Okay.
But I would also say, though, first time in Marlins history have we seen anything like this. And also the first time they ever had a game day opening series that they won since 2022.
Yep. So, funny enough, we were all, and I say we, the 3 of us plus Brandon L., we were all at Lone Depot for opening day for Sandy Alcantara versus Paul Skeens, which, by the way, if you guys didn't know, Livy Dunn was in attendance. She was there. I'm very upset that I didn't really get, because I would have loved the photo. But she was sitting first base side. I don't know about you, Brandon, but me and Jonka, let's get this straight first. Me and Jonka were absolutely baking for the first 5 innings in that sun on the third base side. Baking. I can't even emphasize the word baking. Little disappointed that there was no flyover for opening day. Funny enough, the people in our area, once the national anthem was done, everyone was like looking up, and some lady was like, "That's it? There's no flyover?" So that was a little weak by the Marlins. I think they needed a flyover. It's opening day. How can you not have a flyover? But anyways, the game itself, Skeens and Alcantara in that game won. It was nice to see the stadium packed. 31,000, I believe, was the number for attendance. It was a pitcher's duel all the way till Skeens and Alcantara got pulled from the game, and that's when the game really opened up offensively. And then, of course, Kyle Stowers with that walk-off in the 9th. It was good to see the Marlins fan base on opening day get that sort of victory. I think that looking at this team, they got a lot of young guys that I think that are willing to fight and prove themselves. The bullpen is really where I start to worry about the Marlins and their pitching. I don't know they really have that intact. I mean, it's still early on in the season. I mean, we just got past the first series. But it was a great opening day. How was your experience, Brandon, on opening day?
Well, I have to let you know right now, this is 101 buying tickets. Always get the cheapest tickets because it's always going to have the shade in a ballpark. That should usually have the shade in a ballpark, especially for Miami. So I was near the air ventilation under the scoreboard watching that game. But again, of course, as Marlins tradition, people leave early sometimes.
Yep.
So went all the way down, went to the first base. Then I went over the outfields. But every single angle, it was like the Marlins just looked totally different on the field. Like Sandy had 7 Ks throughout the day, got guys looking like left to right, just figuring out what the hell they wanted to do. And then also, I have to say the 8th inning, though, Otto Lopez, he just might be our second baseman, like long term. I love Lopez. He's already, I believe, got 2 homers so far this season. And then, of course, I mean, as you said, 5-4 games started opening up a little bit at the end. Yeah. This team, it's a gritty team with young guys. I mean, as you said, young guys that are fun to see on the field. And some of them, I mean, like, for example, Griffin Conine, the right fielder, the guy, besides his name, he's a real talent on both ends. From at bat to out in the field, I loved opening day. I loved every single aspect of it. Actually, my first ever opening day, first day of the series type of thing. So that was pretty cool to experience. And trust me, I couldn't see the flyover either. I had a big scoreboard on top of my head. I was expecting to be like, just, where's the Jets? Where's the Jets?
You would have heard them.
Yeah, but it was a good experience, though. It was awesome to see the Marlins in that light. You know what I mean? And I felt like people actually wanted to go to the next game, which they did.
Jonka, before you go, there's only one thing, Brandon, that will tell you that pissed me off, and I think Jonka knows where I'm going with this.
I was pissed off too.
Bro, me and Jonka get in line. How long did we wait? Good 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, I'd say around 20 minutes.
Good 20 minutes. We're in line, center field, Isla Canaria. You just don't know, cafecito, Miami, Cuban coffee.
Dude,
hold on. Wait till you hear this.
No. I think we're in the same boat here. Go ahead.
20-minute line we're waiting. And the lady says, we run out of coffee. And I'm like, how do you run out of coffee on opening day?
Dude, I'm telling you, because funny enough, I went to 2 games throughout the week for the 4-game series. I went Sunday because, tickets were like $12.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I go there for the coffee. I'm in this line for like half an hour. one of the production guys that, like, with the Jumbotron, the whole like, oh, it's about to be the 5th inning. He cuts the line. Again, he works there, so whatever. But he cuts the line. He's like, hey, can I get a little cafecito, for, some white dudes. So can I get like some cafecito, to advertise and this and that? And the lady behind the counter, como que? Yeah. Like what happened? We had to wait like even longer because the Marlins wanted to make sure they had a little advertisement for the 5th inning. If not, the line was already past third.
I had to call in United Nations to come in and translate for this coffee.
It was ridiculous. But no, honestly though, that coffee, it is good coffee though. Is it worth $8? Maybe not, but it's good.
So you know what ended up happening is after the game, me and Janka were so disappointed that we didn't get our coffee that we went to the physical La Canaria location and had ourselves dinner, and we had our coffee.
There we go. Worked out
Perfect. And I was so happy eating my food. I had a steak, and it was great.
Actually, it did look good. Not gonna lie, the steak looked pretty good. I wasn't gonna lie.
Janka knows me. When I eat something and it's good, Janka, you know, bro. I was like, this is so good.
Oh, when he was ordering, he said medium, and I'm like, coño, Daniel with medium?
Medium, bro. Not even medium well. I don't like well done. I think people that eat well done are weird. Sorry if there's any well done eaters out there. Brandon, if you're a well done eater, I'm sorry.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. I agree. Yeah.
Well, it's like eating charcoal. But anyways, past the point. Jaka, your thoughts. Marlins, opening day, opening series.
It ended up being a great start. Nick Fortes getting the triple, and then Edwards getting walked. And then obviously Stowers getting that walk-off RBI.
And Janka got it perfectly on camera, too.
Yeah, that was the video that we posted on our socials. Bro, beautiful. And clear 4K on an iPhone.
Yep.
We ended up getting three walk-off winners out of the 4 games.
Yep.
But unfortunately, today we ended up losing.
Today was bad.
4.
Today was very bad.
I feel like this is those games when the depth in the bullpen isn't as prevalent, and then you see these types of dominations in a way. I feel like if the Marlins are going to compete, as of right now, they should try getting some more offense, because obviously finding good pitchers is like a needle in a haystack. So I would try to beef up the offense as much as possible, score as many runs, use those torpedo bats because they are legal. And then in the offseason, try to maybe spend some actual damn money, get yourself some actual pitchers. Pay Alcantara, por favor, please. Do not let him walk. There's rumors that the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Phillies are going after him. Please do not. If they lose Alcantara, I might have a fit.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, the teams you named is like every single team that's usually in the rotation for a free agent. But I would also say is that the Marlins themselves, there was actually some stats that came out for all the MLB teams in the sense of how much they make and how much is that towards payroll. The Marlins are not even getting close to 30% of their earnings towards the teams and players. But also, I would say, though, pitching-wise, though, I mean, they got some, again, besides Sandy, though. I mean, Max Myers, 7 strikeouts, similar to Sandy in opening day. He did the exact same thing, I believe, Sunday. I believe that's when he started against Pittsburgh. He, and as well as Sandy, I think those are like 2 guys you got to make sure you hold on to. Of course, Sandy, for obvious reasons, Cy Young winner. But, man, Myers early on, dealing. So I think if you have that 1-2 punch where like maybe you bring in, one of these guys once every 3-game series or whatever. I mean, at least you can guarantee yourself there will be a fight on the mound for a game in the series. You know what I mean? Not trying to say that, let's have these guys blow out the rotator cuffs or whatever. But if the Marlins going to have a chance for anything besides a low-life team facing against New York earlier today, I mean, they're going to need pitching because they have no hitting right now. I mean, I saw Edwards. I saw Forte. I don't know what it is. I forgot the guy's name. I think it's Dan Myers.
Dane Myers.
That guy looks like he can hit dingers like in any ballpark in the world if you wanted to. If the fence was over like 500 feet away from the plate, I feel like he can go for 600. Like that guy has so much power to him. If only he can be able to hit the ball well, then that's a different story. So we got guys with quality. We just can't hit right now.
I will say, I know this is not the Marlins, but I will say from the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Jonka told me, I will say O'Neal Cruz was pretty impressive. That guy's arm, I don't know if you saw it, Brandon, out there in center field. That guy's arm was a bullet.
Yeah. Oh, insane. Insane.
I have a hypothetical for you guys, for both of you, and for the listeners out there. Obviously, we dominated the Pirates. I would say we dominated. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I feel like we dominated them. They're not. I wouldn't consider them a top team. But then we go up against the Mets, we get blown out. Now, this is a hypothetical. If let's say we play the next 2 games, we play the Mets, then we play a 3-game at Atlanta, then we play the Mets again at Mets. If let's say we go on a bad stretch, because those teams are actually good.
Wait, hold on though. I will say to start the season, both the Braves and the Mets were not that impressive to start the season.
If we lose to the Braves, the way the Braves are looking, like the state of Georgia might be under fire right now.
Yeah.
Who did the Braves lose to? They lost to the Padres. Okay. I mean, they're not a bad team. But they're not terrible.
I have to agree with Brandon. The way the Braves were looking to start out the season, that first series, it was not good.
What would be a sign? Like what would be like the record by the time they play on the last game, which would be April 9th on the Wednesday? That's the last game of the second series against the Mets. If the Marlins have a let's say a losing record by then, and the losses have been getting worse little by little, what would you change? Like,
I would say the attitude of the team. I would say the attitude of the ballpark early. I mean, again, we're talking about baseball in April. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say what can you change because it's a long season.
And I'll tell you this right now: the Marlins do play the Dodgers April 28th, 29th, and 30th at LA.
Right there, baby. They'll be here in May. You see me out there, bro.
But I'm telling you though, it's the Marlins. They'd have nothing to fear yet. All right, nothing to fear yet. But if it's like June or July and the 500 mark is starting to slip a little bit, then I would think of let's see what they can do to push over.
Yeah, I would tell them to fight as hard as you can this month because they have a pretty tough month. I'm not gonna lie, they have a pretty tough month. Diamondbacks, the Nationals, they got the Phillies, the Reds, the Mariners, and the Dodgers. I would tell them to fight as hard as possible. Maybe get as many wins as you can before you start to get into May and June. You know.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to our next topic, and this is gonna be a fun one. I mean, from knowing you guys personally, I think we might be on the same boat. I know me and Jonk are definitely on the same boat. I don't know too much. I think Brandon's on the same boat. I would hope so.
Me and Brandon spoke about it, the other Brandon, a couple weeks ago.
Brandon L is on the same boat as us.
But this is like a whole new level. That was like before. That was just like a calm before the storm. This is the actual like thunder and lightning, bro.
And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, it's the whole feud that we've been having in the past week or two of Stephen A. Smith versus LeBron James. I'm going to give my spiel here. Look, no doubt, LeBron James is top 5 all time. For me, he's at number 3 because I have Jordan being the GOAT, and then I got Kobe Bryant, then I have LeBron James. That's just my list. That's my opinion. I know everyone has different opinions, different lists, whatever, but definitely top 5 all-time greatest players to ever live. There's no denying that. But I do have a problem where LeBron James thinks that because he thinks he is the GOAT, that you need to bow down and kiss the ring. That's not how this works. I think everyone's entitled to an opinion. And I think when we think about this situation with Stephen A. Smith, Stephen A. Smith didn't say anything bad about Bronny James. He said that he just didn't think he was ready. And I agree. Everyone flipped out because he had 17 points the other night. Big whoop. Yes, he's showing potential that he could, but he was never ready. And I agree with Stephen A. that he was put in this position because of his father. His father put him in this position. And from this standpoint, why is Bronny James excluded from every other NBA player from criticism from the media? Like, that is our job as journalists, as sports analysts. We'll give you your praise when you do well. But when you crap the bed, we're going to call it out. LeBron was the one that said, oh, Bronny is better than half of the NBA right now before he even entered the NBA. LeBron was the one saying, oh, if you want, Bronny, like, I'll be with Bronny wherever Bronny ends up. I think that Stephen A. Smith had a lot to truth to this. Then the whole situation of, LeBron confronting Stephen A. The man waited till the third quarter to do it. And when he did it, then he looked up straight at the camera, looking like he knew the camera was there. I mean, you waited till the third quarter. There's no doubt that LeBron knew Stephen A. Smith was there and waited to the third quarter in the middle of the game to do this, when you can easily just go in private and have this conversation and be like, hey, look, I don't like the way that you're talking about Bronny, blah, 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 whatever. Not in front of the cameras, in front of the media, to create a whole drama. And then he goes on social media and he's acting like a 15-year-old going back with Stephen A. and posting memes about Stephen A. I mean, I don't know if there's – obviously these two guys don't like each other, but I just think that LeBron had a lot of fault in this, and I don't think that he has been behaving very well in this situation, and he's the one that put his son in this situation. And I don't think no matter him, his son, or any NBA player should be away from criticism of the game.
I'm telling you right now, we do not care. We do not care. Like, I'm going to be – like, I think the funniest thing about this, I think – I'm going to go through 3 points through, but the first one is probably the most important one. It's the fact that what ESPN is becoming so far. I mean, we're talking about what? On First Take, they have 2 anchors on there now that each one of them has been confrontational at a Laker game. You know what I mean? Like what is the ratio to that? If Max Kellerman was on that show still. So yeah. I'm thinking to myself, and again, I understand the idea of LeBron James coming out when Stephen A. was like, as a father, speaking to him as a father on national television about Bronny. I get that point. But then it's like, you go up to him. I guess it was recorded or whatever on the sidelines. And then next time around, like a week later, Stephen A. is like, oh, I would have put hands on him. I would have done something. And I'm thinking to myself, what were you gonna do against a guy like 6'8"?
He did mention he would have gotten his ASS whooped. He did mention that.
That, I just don't understand what's the beef that he's making here. I mean, like LeBron James getting him more beef off the court with journalists than on the court. I mean, I hate to say sad, but it's kind of ridiculous to say that LeBron James is in a beef in the big 2025 with Stephen A. Smith, the First Take. So I think it's ridiculous. And again, this isn't the first time we've seen, as I said before, First Take, having both anchors dealing with guys on the Lakers before. Then, of course, Mad Dog having his own issues with other players out there. I think ESPN is kind of changing away from, how do I say it? Not only like trying to find videos for people to be like reaction, but getting away from like clickbait, exactly that, and now straying away from like, the journalist nerds, the sports nerds, you know what I mean? Like this is Sports Center commercials. I can't see any of these guys in those. But, and then also on the second part though, I also think it's like for the Bronny James part of it, who hasn't talked about Bronny James? People in the NBA, Jaylen Brown in Summer League saw this guy play his first ever game in the Summer League and said, I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's going to make it. I think that he doesn't make it NBA. Like Isaiah Collier, he wasn't even the best player on Southern Cal when he was in his freshman year, Bronny James. So it's not like oh my gosh, it's, as, Headsworth, we got the student edition there. But I'm telling you though, like it's not going to be, oh my God, why are people saying bad things about my son? It's, well, of course they're going to say bad things about your son. He's not playing at an elite level. I mean, hell, we talk bad stuff about Ben Simmons because he was not playing like LeBron James. We're going to do the same thing with LeBron's actual kid. So that's what I think. And my third part and the final thing I think about this, like Stephen A has become such a personality now that I don't even see him as a journalist anymore. Like he is the face of ESPN because he made it to be that. I mean, if ESPN ever runs a story about Stephen A for a whole 10 minutes, I wouldn't be surprised at the point. I really wouldn't be surprised about the point. Like the day that Stephen A retires, he probably gets a bigger special than the decision. All right. I think that ESPN puts him on that pedestal. And for good reason. Of course, he has his own, achievements in his career. And I'm not trying to bash his career or anything like that. But I just think that it's insane that we put this guy on a high pedestal where, yeah, he has a full conversation now every single day where it's, oh, is LeBron James, are you okay? Or like, what's the relationship? What do you mean, what's the relationship? You ever see Adrian Wojnarowski ever having beef with any of these players? No, because he did his job. He's a journalist. So Stephen A, a lot of people say shove and dribble. I don't believe in that. But in this case, and as a fellow journalist, in this case, shut up and report. Do your job.
But here's my 3 counterpoints to everything you just said. One, he was doing his job. He said that he was doing his job.
He didn't have to react. LeBron went up to him.
LeBron reacted though.
Yeah, but then why? And I'll put it in this way. And then Stephen A is like, I would have put and he's extending it to a talking point on his show, on his own personal show with ESPN.
So,
you know what I mean?
So if LeBron would have put hands on him as a man, are you saying you're just going to stand there and take it?
I would say as a reporter, I would not risk myself with a team and be like, why am I not getting credentialed? Because you kind of sucker punch LeBron James. You know what I mean? Like, and that's another thing too, because if this was not Stephen A, like let's say there's a guy from the LA Times or something like that, he probably gets fired the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's another part about, the power dynamic of ESPN, and of course, for good reason,
right,
over all these other beats. But, I mean, again, as a journalist for Stephen A, why extend it? Why extend it?
My other part would be, you just said, and I agree with you, a bunch of people have been talking about Bronny. Why did he go after all those people? Why did LeBron choose Stephen A. Smith to go after for comments about Bronny?
No, can't go. He can't go after Jaylen Brown. He can't go after Jaylen Brown. And I'm pretty sure there's another handful of players. But I think it's also like a respect aspect, I think, within the NBA. Like, I mean, unless you're like Isaiah Stewart that's looking for a fight up with Detroit, like you're not going to be going around and being like, hey, I heard you said this and that. Like, it's not the WWE out here with a lot of these guys. Like, Vince McMahon isn't Adam Silver. Like a lot of these NBA players have that type of respect where it's like, okay, there we go. You said it, whatever. And then also, even further that point, because I remember when LeBron James came in the league, there were people on Cleveland at the time when he was his rookie that said that, oh, LeBron isn't going to be this, this messiah of the NBA or this guy, this and that. So LeBron, I'm pretty sure he has some familiarity right now with his son's going through. So that's also another thing I'm kind of shocked about. If you knew what was going to happen with a guy at his age, and of course, his repetition going into the league as, the son of an all-time Hall of Famer, then why are you surprised that people are saying things? Not only in the media, but also probably other people's locker rooms as he did with himself.
He also, and I will say, here's another point. He also talked crap about Brian Windhorst, who he disrespected Brian Windhorst.
Way out of left field. I was shocked about that.
I'm telling you, it was disrespectful. I don't know what's his problem right now recently. He's just all in his feels and emotional. I don't know what it is.
I know what it is.
To your ESPN point, I think that we have to think that he is the face of ESPN. And right now, if Stephen A were to walk, what is ESPN? They would lose major ratings and people if they lost Stephen A. Smith. So that's why they gravitate and keep Stephen A. and give him whatever he wants in his contract, because they need him. At this point, Stephen A. doesn't need ESPN. ESPN needs him.
Exactly. And then honestly, the only like recipe that they have after Stephen A is just having former athletes get on
Yeah.
stage. That's about it. Just
Yeah.
get on front of a podium and like figure out what you're going to talk about. And again, I mean, it's worked. We've seen like athletes like TNT and Ted Turner. They definitely have upheld themselves with Ernie Johnson. You know, of course, Ernie not being a former player, but you know, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, Shaquille
Yeah.
O'Neal. That makes sense. I'm pretty sure on the NFL side of things, if you look at the NFL's production with ESPN, it is ridiculous, man. It is real ridiculous. If you ask yourself, well, what is like the top thing right now with ESPN? It's probably College Game Day with college football.
Yeah.
A lot of the people on that panel, half of them journalists, half of them broadcasters, and even if they're former players, they've been 20 plus years in the business. Besides, of course, Nick Saban and McCaffrey. I'm telling McCaffrey. McAfee. There we go. I don't know why they got confused.
Tebow
as well. Tebow as well, the SEC network. And but again, also another example with SEC network. A majority of them, Paul Feinbein, Laura, all of them dedicated and known journalists in the field. So that's where you find those ratings where, like, you know, maybe the player aspect isn't really big right now. And when Stephen A leaves, I'm pretty sure they're going to stick to that player thing to the day that it runs off the wheels. And unfortunately, again, NBC is coming to the NBA. Ted Turner, we don't know what's going on with TNT. There's a lot of uncertainty right now in sports, but I'm telling you right now, sports is still king. Still king.
Jonka, what is your thoughts on this whole beef?
Listen, if you guys know, I don't like LeBron James. It's a well-known fact.
So is this a biased opinion, or is this a true and actual?
No, I always come into these things, you know, obviously with non-bias. I give whatever my take would be. If I'm gonna look at this from the way of non-biased, LeBron James went up to Stephen A. At the end of the third quarter of a game, told him something. He knew what corner he was. He told him something about get my son's name out of your mouth, trying to do like his best Will Smith impression, and then walked away, and then looked at the camera because he knew where the camera was, and then just continued to walk away. That means this was planned. This was all staged just to make Stephen A look bad. And funny enough, how it works that Nick Wright on Fox is always praising LeBron James, and LeBron James was just seen the other night dabbing him up during the game, and Nick Wright comes out, I think it was yesterday or the day before, coming out saying, "Oh, Stephen A was wrong," and he's not even on the same network. It's funny how LeBron has his little clique, but aside from that, I don't mind what Stephen A did. I liked how he called him out on all his lying, all his antics, how he has to be protected no matter what.
Nobody else does.
Nobody else calls him out, bro. That's one of the things I do not like about Shannon Sharpe. I'm sorry, Shannon, I love you, but you protect this man way too much, and you know that he's complete and utter asshole. He's an utter asshole. First of all, what he did with Brian Windhorst was completely left field. The guy has covered you since high school. He has backed you up no matter out of all the finals you've lost, all the finals you've won. He's backed you up. He has never talked bad about you once. And yet you do that to him. Oh, when your good friend Kobe Bryant died, you didn't attend his funeral service. When Dwayne Wade made the Hall of Fame, you didn't attend that either. Bro, this guy's two-faced, bro. Like, what kind of a friend are you? Like, what kind of a person are you that you don't go to your best friend's Hall of Fame and Kobe Bryant's funeral service? Like, don't. And then all of a sudden, when on Kobe on the it was I think it was Kobe Bryant's like a couple years ago. What was it? When they were lifting up his banner.
Yeah.
Right. LeBron James has he doesn't even try to win that game for Kobe Bryant. He's just like, oh, I'm only here for the stats and whatever. Yeah, he loses that game. What signal are you trying to send to the league, bro? Like, oh, you don't care about your best friend, bro? Like, you don't care about a good friend that just died tragically? All right. We see you. And now talking about Bronny. Bronny was trash in USC. There should be no reason he's in the NBA. I see players averaging 16, 17, 18 points a game that can't even make the NBA, but somehow a 3 points per game scorer gets to be in the second round magically. And because he's LeBron James' son, that makes him better than everybody else. No, I'm sorry. Like LeBron James, like you're not a good dude. Like stop trying to be an angel. You're not the GOAT. How do you lose 6 finals and then Michael Jordan has won 6 finals?
And he's still catching up.
And you're still trying to play. You're trying to break all these records just to make yourself look like, oh, you're better. It's taking you all these years, all these extra seasons to break these records. And yet Michael Jordan is still, you still don't have as many offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, MVPs, finals MVPs. Like, it's absolutely getting ridiculous on why this guy continues to play. It's absolutely effing retarded.
We're gonna end there. We're gonna go into our next topic. This past week, Jimmy Butler returned to Miami. Yes, he was at the campus of where I work, Barry University. Jimmy Butler was there. The Golden State Warriors in entirety were there. It was absolutely crazy. It was Jimmy's first return to Miami since being traded to the Golden State Warriors, and how beautiful of a night it was. Beautiful of a night it was. Bam Adebayo starting out the game, dunking on Jimmy. Jimmy didn't do garbage. 11 points in the game. Had 2 points through much of the first half. I think it just goes to show you there. I mean, Steph was out of the lineup. It just goes to show you there that Steph runs that team. When Steph is not in the lineup, no matter who's there, Draymond, Jimmy, they can't do anything. And I am so happy. You know, the fans booed Jimmy every time he touched the ball. And Draymond was out here, Draymond was out here saying, hey, I don't think he deserved to get booed. Well, obviously, Draymond, you didn't play for the Miami Heat organization. I'm not sure you kept up with the Miami Heat organization or how Jimmy, did things. But we're talking about a man, yes, that took us on some great runs. But let me tell you, the guy quit. He threw the Heat under the bus, said a lot of bad things about the Heat. Before this game, he's saying, I got nothing to say to Pat, and Pat better not have anything to say to me. Like, Wiz, are you trying to say a threat? I'm happy that the Heat dominated him and the Golden State Warriors. Not even the show of respect to go say hi to his former teammates and talk to them. Just walked straight out the arena like a sore loser, bad sportsmanship, and I'm happy Miami ran him out of town.
I think the coolest part about it is the fact that, man, Bam was just, what are you going to do? I totally expected it. That's basically what he said. When Butler didn't even come over, it was just, I expected it. It's whatever. I'm not surprised. That's basically what he said. Like, he ended up dapping up 2 guys, mind you, his entourage, wearing the exact same big face hoodie, and then went to the locker room. And then, according to reports, had a beer, waited 30 minutes after the game to even talk to the media. And again, very nonchalant. I mean, again, the whole game, he just looked like he was just going through the motions. I mean, he didn't play like Jimmy, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy
I don't think he cared to be there.
Yeah, I mean, he was just trying to get the whole thing over with, But I would also say the funny part about it, the fact that they had a tribute video for him and the audio apparently went out midway. I mean, it just like that. I mean, it was just like exactly how the whole contract situation went, how the whole trade situation went. You got all these memories fluttering. He's got 2 banners, 2 Eastern Conference Finals banners in the building. He's looking for that big time extension. You have all this, but the music gets silent because Pat doesn't want to pay him, because Jimmy doesn't want to be with the team anymore. He doesn't feel the love on the court, and so it just goes silent. I thought it was super poetic. I thought it was super cool to see. And on top of that, Hero and as well as Bam balled out that night. I think Bam probably had near 30 points there.
Yep.
And the only thing I wanted from that night that we didn't really get much of, because my biggest question was who's going to guard Butler throughout.
Yeah.
Now, if Hero was on him the entire night, just like freaking defense right there, hand on his chest, just like, sliding back and forth with him, that would have got me out of my chair. That would have got me out of my chair. I had my friend Alex, who's a big Heat lifer for life. Again, I'm not a big fan of the Miami Heat, whatever. I'm very unbiased with my reporting. But I have to say, though, as a South Floridian, I loved it when he told me, Brandon, I stood up the entire game. My hands were crossed the entire game, just looking at it, clapping at the TV. I'm pretty sure half of Miami was like that for that game. And now the Heat, and now the Heat, again, that win, part of a 5-game winning streak. They actually beat out Washington earlier today.
Yep.
This is, I think it was what the Heat needed, that kind of purpose to keep on playing towards a play-in tournament. So this was huge for the Heat, I would have to say. Despite Butler coming back, I think the bigger story is, the Heat youth. I mean, they're back on action now. They can get this past them.
Jonka, your thoughts?
Yeah, from what I saw with Jimmy, bro, he just looks so out of it. Even while he was at Barry, he took a different car. He just walked with the students there back to the other vehicle. He just didn't care. He just wanted to just get this game over with because he knew after all the drama that had happened a couple weeks before that game. I don't like the way he went out, honestly. It's just, I feel like if he didn't handle it that way and we would have just went separate ways amicably, I feel like we could have gone more out of the trade with the Warriors or any other potential trade team. But yeah, we ended up getting Andrew Wiggins and Nick Anderson. And
hey, I mean, Andrew put up 40 the other night.
I know, but it's like for Jimmy Butler, you're getting a decent star.
Hey, Davion Mitchell's not doing bad either.
But we didn't get him because of that. That's the thing. We got him at a different trade, not because of that deal. I feel like we could have gone at least Jonathan Kuminga and Wiggins for that.
The Warriors,
come on.
Be realistic.
If Jimmy Butler doesn't do that big ass tantrum here in Miami and make himself look even worse and reduce his trade value, what do you think his trade value would have been if he didn't do that and he just actually acted like an adult and just asked to be traded?
Okay, but so what are we talking about with Kuminga though? Are we thinking that Kuminga is such a side piece where you can put him plus Andrew Wiggins for a player like Butler? Because again, Kuminga is a huge piece, and especially in today's NBA where Rudy Gobert can go for 5 first-round picks. I mean, Kuminga and who else? I might as well Butler with another player and a few firsts.
I don't know. The thing is, if the Warriors do see Kuminga as a decent player of the future, why haven't they paid him yet? That's my question.
I mean,
they haven't paid him yet. I don't know if they're waiting to see if Draymond retires after the season. That maybe they use that money to sign him. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. But I don't think Jonathan Kuminga moves the needle for Steph. So I don't think we gotta see what he does. Obviously, this playoffs, maybe he has a huge spark, and maybe that lifts him to the Western Conference Championship or whatever. But I just feel like we got cheated out just because of the way he handled himself in the trade. That Miami ended up not getting the compensation that we deserved. He just looked out of it. He just looked out of it. The game was great. I love the intensity from the Heat. I know they wanted actually to win that game. You could just tell from the way they were playing. They're like, all right, you want to come into our house now? You don't want to play with us? All right, I see it. I see you. Let's go. No Steph, obviously, but that doesn't matter. You got to play who's on the court. And the Warriors do have great players. No matter what, they can get hot any time of the day. But the Heat ended up coming victorious, and we enjoyed the W.
So we're going to move into March Madness Final Four. These games are going to be great, and we're going to have Auburn against Florida and then Houston against Duke. Winners from both of these games advance to the national championship that will be played next Monday. Actually, ESPN has Auburn over Florida. Yep, Brandon, they do. They have Auburn with a 57.9% chance, with Florida only having 42.1% chance. I know Brandon's thinking right now. He's like, good. Let them doubt the Gators.
No, I'm not really surprised about this. It was the exact same issue I had with AP and the Associated Press when they did the rankings. Even though the Gators beat Auburn on the road, even though the Gators won the SEC, even though the Gators have proven time and time again they are the team to beat on that side of the bracket. What everyone's like Bruce Pearl. Oh, Bruce Pearl is like and Jerome and what are we talking about with Auburn? What are we talking about? I mean, half of that roster right now is older than me. You know what I mean? Like, what are we really talking about? I think then we look at the matchup though for that side between Auburn and Florida. And again, the matchup itself is that Florida has basically gone undefeated against this squad, and let alone has won the SEC as a downright phenomenal games. UConn, Texas Tech have shown they can really, put a fire under teams when they're down by double digits. It's insane to doubt the Gators at this point. And I think the perimeter matchup is going to expose that.
So, do you guys think that Houston has a chance against Duke?
I think their defense does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, offensively, they can't score for anything against this team. Like, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. I think Houston will be lucky to even have 50 points in this one. Like, I think Duke, if it's not Duke, Florida, I'd be shocked. Like, I'd be flabbergasted. I would think it's tomfoolery. I think something's amuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's an adjective. Like, it's got to be, like, probably one of the best Final Fours because I think it's the first time we have one seed since, like, 2008 all around. So this is a wet basketball dream. Hate to put it that way, but it is a wet basketball dream. It is Duke Cooper Flag against Sampson and his program in Houston, which is basically a WWE style defense, real physical. Going up on the other side, either Florida, who has Walter Clayton Jr., probably going to be Heedle, unfortunately, will be one of the top 10 guys picked in the draft. And a bunch of other guys. I mean, Thomas Hawk, there's a lot of questions right now if he goes to the NBA and be like a second-round guy. And then also, of course, on Auburn's side, Bruce Pearl, he actually, funny enough, gave Todd Golden, head coach of Florida, his first ever job as a graduate assistant at Auburn. So this is kind of a, mentor against mentee type of battle right now we're going to see against Auburn and Florida. So there's a lot of storylines. I love this stuff.
Jonka, your thoughts on the Final Four?
I can't wait to see this Florida-Auburn game. The last time they went up was on the 8th of February. Florida ended up being victorious 90-81. Florida ended up shooting, I'll tell you right now, Florida shot 40% from three. Auburn shot 31. Then Florida shot 49% from the field, which is crazy. And then 42.9 for the Auburn, so they shot better, and it was at Auburn. I mean, the way it just looks already, bro, for Florida, bro. Every game, even though if they're down by 10, Walter Clayton, the rebounding, the defense, the stops, everything has been working in their favor. Now, can they go down 10 again and against Auburn, who's going to be coming out for blood, especially when it's a one elimination game? They're going to be putting everything they need into that game. I don't know if they can afford to go down 10 again. It would be crazy if they come back again with another comeback from Walter Clayton. And that rebound, I forgot from what his name was, bro. Brandon, help me here. It was a crazy rebound, bro, that he got. Offensive rebound after missing a three.
I'm thinking either Elijah Marr or Hawk.
Bro, that rebound saved the game for the Gators, bro. Saved the game.
Oh, Will Richard. I'm
bro.
Thinking. And that's, again, a star-studded, again, only college players for now, but trust me, remember these names because I've seen them in person. Star-studded cast. These guys are NBA bound.
Obviously, if you guys don't know, I have Florida playing Duke in the finals. So, obviously, I got Florida winning. But since you said, Brandon, Daniel, that the ESPN has Auburn favored, you might see Jonka betting. Because I'm going to bet on Florida. Because if Florida wins, I make money. And if Florida loses, I'm happy. No matter what. Because my bracket's already screwed up.
Yeah.
So no matter what, I'm betting on Florida. And now Duke, I got to agree. I think Houston's defense is better than Duke's. But Duke's offense is way more star-studded and more potent.
Yeah.
Can you stop Cooper Flag? Can you stop Tyrese Proctor, who's actually been balling, not gonna lie? Can you stop him for a whole 2 halves? As good as Houston's defense is, I don't see it happening. But defense does win championships. Can Duke have a really cold game? I don't see it happening. I think Duke has been destroying everybody in the bracket. So they haven't really had that tough game lately.
Yeah.
The last game was a little bit close, but it's still a blowout. I got Duke winning it. I think we're going to have the final everybody's been wanting, Florida versus Duke. SEC versus ACC. I love it. It's dreams, bro. It's dreams.
So this final topic of the night, and I do want to say that if there's anybody watching that is sensitive to just a topic revolving around mental health, this is probably a good moment to tune out just for the final 5 minutes of the show. We're talking about Haley Van Lith, who came out. I mean, WNBA bound. We know what she's done in her collegiate basketball career. She's one hell of a player. We know all of that, but it goes past people's minds, and even whether athletes or celebrities, these are human beings, and we don't know we see their success on their court, but we don't know what they deal with internally and behind closed doors. Obviously, you guys know I'm a big advocate for mental health. And she spoke after one of the games last week, and she said, and I'm going to state right from what she said. She said, when I was younger in college, I was suicidal. I was heavily medicated and felt trapped, and you would never know it because I was having a ton of success on the court. But internally and life in general, I was ready to be done. That's what I mean when I speak on suffering and pain. I didn't even want to live. And she said she first decided that she needed to get help and get serious about her well-being after seeing the story about Katie Meyer, who was the Stanford goalie who died by suicide in her campus dorm in March of 2022. I'm glad that she used her platform to talk about this. It's not an easy thing. I have shared my story when it comes to mental health. Obviously, when you first do it, it's not an easy thing. But once you start to get comfortable and you know that you are going to help people by sharing your story when it comes to mental health, it's rewarding to try to help people and inspire people. So I'm happy that she came out and she said her story. But I think it just goes to show you, the point is that, we can see someone like herself who is WNBA bound and she's a phenomenal player, and we don't even know what she was dealing with in the background. And, very happy that she got the help that she needed, and this didn't turn into a very bad and tragic, storyline.
Yeah. I mean, again, very, very open, right? Yeah. It takes a lot of courage to be able to do that for her. So, all props to her, and hopefully this does open the way. I mean, same thing with that unfortunate story of the goaltender that committed suicide. Yeah. But hopefully her story of being so open about it brings in a more of a, kind of a revelation of more student athletes and really just people in general. They know about the conversation about, mental health and where they are, and, reach out to someone. And also for those viewers out there, reach out to someone, check on someone, family or friend. But it's definitely good to see that, that kind of, again, the open, again, that's the only way I can really describe it, is the best way to describe it. To be open is really to be available. That's the best thing for anyone. To be available is, something that people need in times. So definitely be available. That's my best advice for that. But I'm really happy to see that, though, that she's able to take that step.
Jonka?
Yeah, man. I gotta give salute to her, bro, to come out like that. Super brave. I would also just like Brandon said, I hope this takes a next step to college athletes to come out. If you're struggling, it's okay to talk to people. If you need help, you need a friend, call your parents, a counselor. or just a doctor. If you need, there's a sports doctor. If you're a college athlete, there's the sports psychiatrist. You could talk to them. But also, just don't forget, like, these players are human beings. They go through things. They're just like all of us. But what makes it even more impressive that she's also a student athlete, where it's not just sports, it's also academics. And when you mix those two, it could get really hectic when you have to study, pass the classes, maintain a GPA so you can be eligible to play, at the same time dealing with fame and money and NIL and all this stuff. It can get overwhelming, and I gotta again give her props for coming out and giving more awareness to this situation. Hopefully, more people can come out and we can avoid any more tragedies.
That's going to do it for us tonight here on the Plug Talk Sports live show, episode 179. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your night and a great rest of your week and a great start to the month of April. Have a good night.